1 million national revenue in the 1860s. Only technocratic Sweden can do this, because that's right, we're playing the Swedish nation the way Paradox intended for us to play. Extremely tall, no cheeses, and super liberal and privatized. Now, considering that Paradox is a Swedish company, as you would expect, Sweden is a little bit more powerful than it probably should be, but I'm all about that because I do enjoy a Sweden game. It's probably one of my top 5 favorite playing tall nations. And speaking of, let me know if you guys want me to make a top 10 video on the best playing tall nations of Victoria 3. I've actually thought about this a little bit today, like what would be my personal top 10 playing tall nations in the game, and there's a lot of options for sure, but I think some of them would really surprise you guys too. Now, as the Swedes, we only have 2.7 million population and 2 million GDP, as well as only a few provinces with the Norwegians, our junior partner, so we're not amazing from that perspective, but we'll make up for it with other ways. That being said, I am not going to be expanding into Africa at all. I'm not going to be cheesing with South African puppets and so on. We're only going to be applying tactics that Paradox approves. Okay, we're playing Sweden the way that Paradox wants us to play it. But that being said, we are going to be using our big brain and make sure we make this nation amazing. We do start with the Church of Sweden and the landowners in charge, which means we don't really have many laws that we can pass from day one. But we do start with interventionalism, tenant farmers, so we're actually pretty well off from the starting perspective. That being said, we can modify some things. We can get the rural folk in the government, which means that we're going to be able to get racial segregation, which will accept more pops of primarily European heritage. So that means we're going to be able to get more migrants. Our biggest bane is going to be population, so getting those migrants is going to be a massive bonus to us. Now, technologically speaking, we're not too bad off actually. We've got all of our tier 1 technologies, as well as dialectics, which is a tier 2 technology that allows our universities to have the philosophy department, so we get extra innovation and qualifications from universities, which we start with 2 of, by the way. We're also going to change to secular academia and secular administration, because that way we get more bureaucrats rather than clergymen. And remember that bureaucrats support the intelligentsia and petite bourgeoisie compared to the clergymen, which primarily support the Church of Sweden. We're also going to change all of the remaining production methods that we need to change. We don't really have anything massive here. Dye workshop will be actually massive, and that's pretty much it. Maybe market square and gas street lights. So with the new trade system, it's actually a lot easier to get these particular goods. What we can do is we can go on no tariffs for imports or low subventions for imports, which will instantly pretty much fix our issues. So we're going to go on low subvention for imports for all 3 of the goods that we don't have any of. We also start with the iron frame building production method, so we're going to be doubling down on that. We do have 7 iron mines as well as a tooling workshop, so we're pretty good actually from that perspective. We can even get a secondary construction sector. We're going to do one in Seviland. We're also going to research atmospheric engines, water tube boilers, and then go to nationalism so we can start integrating the Norwegians. We actually have a pretty massive army and fleet, so technically as the Swedes, you could make one of the greatest colonial empires if you really wanted to. We could invade South America without issues. We could invade Africa. We could invade the Asian parts without issues because we have such an insane fleet, right? However, I don't need the capital ships, so I'm going to be disbanding all of my capital ships. That is significantly going to improve our economic situation too, because we are spending quite a lot for our military. We're going to go on very low wages for military and for government just so we get a bit of extra surplus of money. And we've got 1 consumption tax on liquor. We're going to add a second one on services. Keep it as that now. We see our major shortages are tools, fabric, liquor, clothes, and a few other things here and there. So we're going to try and fix that. I do need 1 coal mine though, because we need to use coal for our industry, especially once we research atmospheric engine pumps. So we're going to do that in the queue. I'm also going to queue up a furniture manufacturing in Svealand and name it IKEA. no, but seriously, that's something we can actually do now with the companies, eh? You see what I'm saying? It's fun. It's fun time. company fun time. Then we're gonna go for another tooling workshop as well, and for now that's gonna be it. We might change this around a little bit as we progress. Gonna get some decrees for road maintenance, social mobility in our capital, and road maintenance as well as social mobility in Scania, because Scania has market access issues, so this should fix most of the issues. The road maintenance, there you go, we're back up to 100% market access. The rest of the authority, we're gonna do something similar. We're gonna go for social mobility in our other states, and the state of Gotland is gonna get ignored until the end of the campaign. That's right, 3,000 GDP, 33,000 population. Nobody even knows you exist, Gotland. You're not important, okay? I'm tired of your shit, Gotland. I'm tired of it. You're the island of our nation, okay? You're the island of Sweden. There, I freaking said it. You happy now? We're also gonna go for law enforcement level 3 institution because we have quite a lot of extra bureaucracy, so we might as well make use of it. I also can go for very high government wages temporarily to increase my authority, and then I can do a secondary decree in Norland, which is gonna be for resource industry because we will have a lot of resources there. We're gonna be expanding, then bring it back down to very low wages. The debuff from the 27 authority reduction is not massive, so it's fine. And as you can probably imagine, we've got most of our logging camps and a ton of iron and fishing wharfs in the state of Norland, so we really want to double down on that. Might change this to road maintenance when I'm actually building things, and then change it back to resource industry when I'm not building. So just keep that in mind if you really are a massive min-maxer. Gonna get a few extra declared interests in around the world. I'm not sure what to tell you. I would love to go for South Africa. I would love to go for South America. That would be technically the most efficient way of playing this game, but I genuinely just want to play tall. Just want to have the Scandinavian lands and see how much GDP and how much population and everything we can get just within Scandinavia, right? I'm gonna be bestest of friends also with the Prussians and everybody around, so I'm gonna improve relations with all the major powers that I can improve with. Gonna get more rivals, primarily the little OPMs in Germany, as well as the Danes. That's right, the good old Danish-Swedish rivalry is back. Not like it ever went anywhere, but yeah, you get my drift. The accession of Oscar the First. Oscar becomes the new leader of our country. He is an intelligentsia moderate, so he could be worse, I guess. I think we could probably sustain a secondary construction sector, so let's out-click a second one in Sviland. Look at that. See, we already have shortages of coal. 5% shortages imposed on our urban centers, and coal is just overall going to be used everywhere, so we really want to make sure that we build that coal mine as soon as possible early in the campaign. We got a lobby opportunity for foreign investment agreement with the Prussians. I don't know much. I guess we could try and go for that, so they probably would accept it because of the 15 clout of pro-Prussian lobbies in Sweden. This will allow us to build in Prussia. We could also let them build in our country, and then they would 100% accept that. Let's name this the Prussia Boo Friends. There we go. Everybody knows that we're secretly a Prussia Boo, right guys? No, seriously, I'm pretty much a massive Prussia. I'm already planning my next Prussia video, just so we're clear. The initial Prussia campaign I had, I feel like it's very outdated because of the 1.7 update and everything in between. So I'm definitely going to be making a brand new Prussia campaign very, very soon. We do have the Japanese and the Russian one we have to release before that though. So we got plenty of plans in the works. Okay, boys? Expect a lot of Victoria 3 from this channel. Hey, we went for consideration phase. Let's go. All right, so let me actually check what kind of pops we have right now. So we don't start with many divergent pops. It's primarily just Swedes, a little bit of Sami, Finnish, and Ashkenazi sprinkled around, but it's really just Swedish everywhere. This is one of the most homogenous areas in the world when it comes down to pops. All right, we got atmospheric engine pumps. Let's go and change both of our production methods for the iron mines and the coal mines. That means we're now producing a lot more iron. So what we could do is we could go to our iron, which we have a surplus of right now, and we could do for export no tariffs or subventions. If we give subventions, we might actually get nations to buy more of our iron. So look at that. Trade centers are now significantly more using up our iron. So we went up to 85 and growing for our iron, which is crazy. 105. Okay, that actually might be a little bit too crazy. It's up to 140. All right, well, let's bring it down to 0. Let's see if they keep that. We're up to 150. They might keep it though. Usually when you go for subventions and you go back to 0, they keep the established trade routes, but it does depend based on if there's other sources of iron available that are cheaper than us, then likely they'll go for that, right? Oh, yes, baby. Okay, we're so freaking good. We are, okay, we're actually golden right now. We just joined the Zollverein, which has police coordination that's going to give us more authority, something that we're already massively lacking right now. And the better part is that that means we're going to be able to get a lot of migrants from the Zollverein eventually. Once we make our country a paradise, we're going to let all the Germans migrate to our little part of paradise. And the fact that this is a trade league means that we're now in the Prussian market, so we can make a buttload of money by just building whatever is in massive shortage in the Prussian market. So that means furniture, tooling workshops, wood we're gonna have a lot of too. So yeah, that's we're set. We're basically set. Let's go 4 tooling workshops as consequence now, and I think we can do a secondary construction sector. There we go. I said secondary twice, but it's like the 5th or 4th one is. I'm special, guys. I'm very special, I swear. Hey, we got standardized filing cabinets. Let's go. And we could also technically get some extra prestige that might help us become a major power by spamming the power block statues, but this takes a long time. I'm not gonna do it just yet, but eventually I will once I need to become a major power and I need that extra prestige buff. Look at that, boys. We're up to 29,000 revenue, increased by 10,000, basically 50% increase in our economy in just a couple of years. And the Prussians went for internal trade too, which is even better. We're gonna just continue to snowball like this. One more construction sector, and let's see what the major shortages are. Still tools and clothes. So we could technically queue up another clothing manufacturer too. Our textile mills are not doing amazing though. Maybe I'll just do a couple more tooling workshops. I'm gonna do 7, so we have 10 tooling workshops in our capital, and then we can focus on other things. There you go. We also got better technology now, so we can change over to the steel production method. We do not have, however, any steel mills, so maybe it's time for me to queue up a steel mill right after this tooling workshop is done. So after the steel mill is done, we can change the production method. If we were to change it now, it wouldn't be the end of the world either. Speaking of, let's change these production methods here too. But yes, we probably have steel on the Prussian side of the market, don't we? Do they have any steel mills? They do have actually quite a lot of steel mills. They're producing 305 steel. Okay, well that basically fixes all of my issues. But that being said, still I want to have some domestic production of steel just in case the Prussians kick me out. You never know. That happens, then we're gonna die economically, so we don't want to die now, do we? 2 more construction sectors I'd say is fine. We're also ramping up our GDP significantly. Hey, let's go, baby. Racial segregation, that's what it's all about now. Oh wait, what? We can get industrialists and intelligentsia in the government. Ooh, okay, let's see what happens now. That should help us get dedicated police force, as well as we have a chance for cultural exclusion. That would really be massive now that I think about it. Cultural exclusion or public schools, both of these. I'm gonna attempt public schools first because the simulation and the education actions is huge, and then after that we'll go for the cultural exclusion. Now remember that our biggest bane is population. We only have 300,000 peasants left, so we're gonna make sure that we use our population properly. That means we're gonna have to use production methods like the water tube boilers to lower the amount of laborers in our factories, which means that we're gonna be able to produce more items instead of having people just carry stuff in essence, right? Well, would you look at that? We got our very first company. We have 2 options here. We can go for the metalworks company or the combined Swedish forestry company. I'm gonna go for the metalworks because of the prestige good that it offers. The precision tools as well as overall tooling workshops are gonna be very, very profitable for us for the entirety of the campaign. You probably noticed we're also attacking the Danes. The Norwegians joined on the side of the Danes to increase their autonomy, but we're not gonna allow that. And what we've done is we started recruiting a lot of conscripts. We've got up to 44 conscript battalions. How's that possible? It's because of the enlistment effort decree, which we have in 2 of our states. That's it. If we were to have it in all 4 states, we could have significantly more soldiers. That being said, we're gonna have to just defend the front here for a while until all of our conscripts get recruited before we actually start pushing in. We also will this way allow for the Danish and the Norwegian armies to completely drain their manpower pool, so that when we start pushing, it's gonna be a bloodbath and we're gonna basically win very, very easily. Because look at this, they already have basically no soldiers left. Also gonna be pausing my construction temporarily because if I don't, I might go bankrupt. We don't want to start taking loans just yet. We're not. Oh, actually, we are a major. Wait, what? When did we become a major power? Actually. All right, I guess it doesn't matter if we take loans. We do have those loan interest reductions now, so we're going to be okay with the couple of loans. In general, guys, you don't want to take loans if you're not at least a major power, or better yet, a great power. That would be basically no issues with interest. All right, boys, we were able to conquer Zealand and Jutland. Now let's turn all of our attention to the Norwegian front, because I haven't really been paying much attention at all to the Norwegian front, and they're actually winning right now, surprisingly. There we go. Managed to reduce the autonomy level of Norway too, so now they are an actual puppet. We do have to work on lowering their liberty desire, however, because they are very, very rebellious. And when it comes to the Danes, they still exist. They are basically Greenland right now and Iceland, and they also have their subjects in North Germany that I'm not going to touch because I really don't want to piss off the Prussians. That is not on my list to do. Now let's go ahead and disband all of our armies, make one major army again, disband all the conscripts. We don't need the conscripts anymore, and make sure we go on very low military wages and start recovering our economy. I'm gonna get a declared interest in the North Sea next, so that in the next war against the Danes, we take what's left of Denmark. We're also back on track with our economy, up to 45,000 national revenue and growing. We are a major power now, and we've got 5.9 million GDP, which is closing up on the Belgians and the Brazilians. So we're definitely making massive progress here. And we also got public school, so that's actually huge, because it means we're gonna lower the power of the Church of Sweden, which does have quite a lot of clout that it's not going to have anymore. Now, speaking of clout, I'd like to lower the clout of the landowners too, so let's go for dedicated police force. We're going to push for cultural exclusion next, because I'm not super sure it's going to pass, so I kind of don't want to waste time on that right now. We can build up a little bit more support for it in the meanwhile. Now, our population includes the Danes now, which is 1.18 million Danes, so that's double the starting population almost. We do have to incorporate these states now, so let's go ahead and do that. They have a little bit of devastation and turmoil, but incorporating will help us make these proper integral parts of our society. Now let's go also ahead and change the production methods in the newly conquered areas. Next, I'm going to queue up a lot of iron mines, because iron is in huge demand. We have 608 shortage of iron in the Prussian market, so we need to make sure we're the ones taking advantage of that shortage and providing the iron for the Germans. Okay, now that is just weird. Why did they go for militarized industry? Why would the Germans militarize their industry? Should I be worried here? No, I shouldn't, because I'm on their side. Also, a lot of wood shortage, so let's spam all the logging camps that we possibly can spam to. We have 79 market access in our capital because of the -17 infrastructure, so we're gonna have to rush that. Let me actually research railways. I kind of forgot to do that. Hey, let's go, baby. Now we're properly industrialized. Let's get those railways in Svealand, which, in case you're wondering, Svealand is short for subscribe to Ludi at Historia, or I'm gonna be playing only Prussia for the next year, unless that's what you want me to do, in which case you should still subscribe. I'm pretty addicted to playing Prussia, I'm not gonna lie. My favorite nation in this game. In fact, it's my favorite nation in all games that I play, okay? Let me know if you want to see a new Prussia run. Just tell me in the comment section. Seeing as we have railways, we're also gonna need to queue up a motor industry now, so we don't have to rely on the Prussians for our motors. And we also can get more construction sectors, so let's do 3 more in Svealand. I know that I'm playing tall and I'm using all of Scandinavia, but the truth is that Svealand is basically where I'm building 80% of my industry. Might as well be calling this the Svealand challenge, am I right? Hey, look at that. The intelligentsia wants me to pass cultural exclusion. Literally the law that I was gonna pass anyway up next. So they're on tune with what I want from my country too. See, we got 320,000 peasants. Okay, that's good. It means our economy is snowballing pretty well. And we got construction as our 4th principle, which is actually really, really good. We get a 10% state construction efficiency. Holy schnitzel. We do more construction sectors now that I think about it. Let's do one more. I'm gonna keep on doing them until I basically am on 0 increase in money. Why is that? Because right now we're getting 65,000 national revenue, so we're massively increasing our amount of money from just spamming the buildings that are required in the Prussian market. Speaking of, let's check that right now again. So now iron's not an issue anymore. We're gonna have to stop with the iron spamming. Wood, coal, furniture, and clothes. Okay, I can work with that. So we can just basically spam the rest of the logging camps that we need to spam anyway. Boom, boom, boom. And let's also do a little bit of change changing for the production methods on the food industry, as well as spam those furniture manufacturers. Let's get a few in the southern parts too, in the newly conquered areas of Denmark, former Denmark. Now, it would be funny if the nations of Greenland and Iceland popped out of there. There would be no more Denmark, because Schleswig-Holstein apparently also managed to get their independence. I'm assuming the Prussians had something to do with that. Now, see, this is perfect. Getting around 100 ducats minus 100 ducats is exactly what you want to see. Basically, you don't want to be gaining too much money. You don't want to waste that possible increase in finances by being on a zero balance, basically. Or if you're a great power, just be on the minus always, because if you're on the minus, it's not a big deal. It's really how you're supposed to play the game. Take loans and use the loans to snowball. That's literally how this game is played. As a major power, you can do that too, to be fair, but it's way better as a great power though. Finally, we also got dedicated police force. Took a while. Now let's attempt cultural exclusion. We have a lot more endorsement for this right now because of the intelligentsia cloud increased quite a bit. It's also time that I start queuing up my university, so I'm gonna get a little bit of unis everywhere just so I get the qualifications, and I'm gonna spam a lot of them in my main capital state so I get the throughput bonus for the universities and I get more innovation as consequence. And speaking of consequences, we seem to have some in Norland because there's no infrastructure. We have one queued up though. Is that from the private sector? It is from the private sector. It's gonna take a while for that to finish, so I'm gonna queue up another one as well from the government sector because we really need Norland to get market access. And yes, in case you're wondering, we are above the Spaniards, above the Egyptians now. We're about to overtake the Dutch East Indies and the Ottomans. The Norwegians are super disloyal. I'm not gonna waste any more time with keeping them as a subject. I'm just gonna annex the entirety of Norway so we can make better use of their lands directly. I'm not getting any conscripts for this particular war because we outnumber them 2-1, so we have more than enough units. Plus we have skirmishers now, so we're gonna be wiping the floor with the Norwegian army. Oh boy, look at our deficit. Holy mother, minus 14,000. Maybe we should pause construction for a tiny bit. Holy mother, I'm actually going to send phase with cultural exclusion. We might even pass that, boys. This is huge. All right, let's integrate all of these lands now. That is a lot of bureaucracy that we had to pay for that, so we're gonna have to build up, or better yet, change our production method for the government administration. There you go. That way we have more than enough bureaucracy now. Make sure we also change all of our production methods because there were quite a few buildings within Norway itself. I also need to start queuing up some buildings that we need for the army, such as a munitions plant because we don't have any right now, an explosives factory too, as well as a fertilizer factory in the same state where we have the explosives factory. We don't have sulfur, right? I believe we don't have any. No, we do have sulfur. Wait, what? Oh, we got sulfur in the Norwegian lands. Oh, dude. So that means we can start building up explosives, fertilizer, and sulfur and paper in the same Western Norway state. We can make this our primary state for those kind of things. Now, that being said, I am gonna do that later because right now, again, turmoil devastation will make it significantly more impossible to build stuff in there. And they also have a motor industry in that state. Okay, I am already loving Norway. Norway was building all the stuff we needed all along. Let's check our GDP. We're above the Belgians, finally. We're about to take over the Japanese, and then we'll be right behind the Americans. One thing I probably should mention, guys, is that during the war with the Norwegians, I did do a cheeky little invasion in Western Norway. That's why I have a separate army of 4,000. Because the Norwegians didn't have enough troops to cover both fronts in time, I was able to push to their capital without having any opposition from Norway, which meant that I won the war very easily. So you probably want to do that whenever you're attacking nations in Wiki 3, especially in this patch. Use naval invasions to make extra fronts, which prevents the AI from, you know, being able to cover all the fronts. There you go, we got cultural exclusion. Beautiful. So now let's see where we're gonna go for first. Total separation would be very massive, so I'm gonna try that because that way all religions get accepted, and that means more pops are gonna be able to migrate to our lands. Right now we've got a migration control, which means pops need to have at least 60 acceptance in order to migrate to our land. So that means pops that are, for example, German, they're gonna have 60 acceptance already because of cultural exclusion, right? But when we pass total separation, we get the extra acceptance from the religion, which means more pops outside of Europe. So like Middle Eastern, African, South American, etc., they're gonna be able to come to our country as well to work in our factories. So So we're essentially turning Sweden into a migration paradise. I guess it's also time that we get rid of what's left of the Danish areas. Basically, Iceland and Greenland should be ours. They are fearful, so hopefully they don't back out of this. Otherwise, I'm going to have a truce with them again. Let's add the other war goals against Greenland. Make that a primary. And do they have anything else, actually? Liberate subject. Oh, wait, these are still their subjects? Ain't no freaking way. I did not realize that these are still... I thought they were liberated, man. Okay, that changes things. So that means once we annex the Danes, these become our Wait, what? They back down. Do they still have lands? No, they have some colonies, don't they? Oh my god, Denmark is in Africa. Denmark is an African nation, okay? Denmark is literally an African nation, guys. They're literally in the province of Togo or whatever the schnitzel this is. Oh my god, that is actually crazy. Okay, I'm okay with Denmark existing in Africa. That's fine. I'll just keep their European possessions. That does mean the Schleswig and Holstein is not ours because the Danes still freaking exist. It also means it's going to be impossible for the Prussians to liberate this because they don't even have any fleet to invade in Africa, do they now? Well, they have one ship, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, they got that lonely old shipio. All right, we need pops. We need pops desperately. So let's start doing this. Water to boilers. Boom. Again, water to boiler and more water to boil. Everyone's getting a water to boiler, guys. Look at that. We managed to free up almost 40,000 pops from switching over to water to boilers in our capital alone. Oh my god. 1,300 shortage on clothes. Brother, what? Okay, that's kind of crazy right there. We don't have the ability to set our tariffs anymore, by the way, because we're not the leader of the market. That would be the Prussians. So we're gonna have to just go with whatever the Prussians say here. So that means we're gonna be the ones that have to spam these clothing manufacturers because they're not obviously doing it, right? So let's make Scania the main clothing state for us. Hey, we cracked 100,000. Yay. 101 even. 103. Oh, it's keep going up. We're about to overtake the Americans for that matter. Holy schnitzel, we're actually gonna do it. We're gonna be better than America. Whenever I think about that, I think about the scene. I forgot what TV show it was, but I think it might have been Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where they have two stereotypical Swedish people, like really blonde, really humorless or whatever. That was funny. That was actually funny. But Swedish people are not like that, actually. Swedish people are pretty funny, and they definitely have a lot of character, in my opinion. Hey, you know what I forgot, guys? To actually give charters to my company. I was wondering why my company's doing really bad. Really bad. It's because they got no charters. So now they're going to be able to get investment rights, trade rights, and industry rights. And whenever I have more charters, I'll also give them some monopoly so they can actually be profitable. Look at that. The difference is massive. Look at the difference with other companies, though. The East India Company is producing 5 times more than I'm producing as an entire freaking country, though. That's ridiculous, man. Swedish Group is also doing really good. Screw it, boys. I'm gonna do a max construction sectors in Finland. Are we gonna tank our economy, or are we gonna become the greatest? Probably the second one, hopefully, really. All right, we do have some support from agitators and movements for homesteading, so let's try and go for that next. That will be huge because it will give minimum worker-owned agricultural and ranch buildings, which means a lot of our peasantry or farmers will be richer. So it's going to increase our standard of living. It's going to increase the demand for certain goods because these people are going to have the money to buy those goods. Remember what I said about getting those Germans into our country? Well, it's already happening. Look at that. We got 166,000 South Germans, 111,000 North Germans, as well as a few other pops that have migrated to our lands from our beloved power block. Insufficient construction for investment pool. Well, that means more construction sectors, sir. Honestly, the reason I love playing as Sweden is because it's so freaking easy to play toll as them. Like, we have a lot of the resources. 2 sulfur freaking provinces, this huge. A lot of metal, a lot of coal and everything. All coal technically is a little bit of an issue. We only have the Scania coal, but I mean, if we join the Prussian market, we don't have issues then now, do we? That being said, their laws are pretty decent at the start, and with a little bit of help, we can also very easily pass legislation to make this an actual utopia to live in for our pops. Alrighty, let's see our standard of living massively increasing now. Oh, no shot. We got actually support for proportional taxation. Let's go, baby. Let's go. That means we can also start privatizing our buildings after we went for proportional. So we get more capitalists that we can tax the schnitzel out of course. Get those dividend taxes, shall we? Holy mother, we have a lot of options for companies now. I am, however, going to go for the United Construction Conglomerate because it gives construction sector throughput plus 20 freaking percent, which is just insane. And hey, look at that. Our company is actually increasing in profit massively. They got a regional HQ in Rhineland now. Ooh, that is smart. Oh my god, it's bad. You know it's bad when you have to build stuff in Gotland. Jesus. Can't believe we're actually doing something in this island. Know what else though? I'm gonna be building in Brandenburg. I'm gonna be the reason why Brandenburg is so good, guys. It's me. It was me all along. We built the Prussian Empire. The Swedes did. Also confident that we can start lowering our taxation now. We want to slowly make it all the way to very low taxes to increase the standard of living, which in turn means we get more pops, right? We already increased actually quite a lot, and we have started getting a lot of migrants. I was wondering why I keep getting notifications that nations are leaving the Zollverein. It does appear like the Prussians have started their unification play, and they're not shy about it. They are really not shy about it at all. Yay! Proportional taxation. The graduated taxation is what we really want, though. That's going to be the big dog. We also got a new king, Charles Bernadotte, who is honestly pretty good. He's got utilitarian ideology, which means he's on board with public schools, women's suffrage, slavery banning, graduated taxation is the big boy. Yep, they really did make Sweden insanely overpowered, didn't they? They actually did. Oh my god, I just realized they're also fighting the French in this war, and they're still winning. I am in love with this nation. Holy mother, they're actually amazing. What? Look at this, guys. Endorsement 87% for guaranteed liberties. I guess the Swedes really love their guaranteed liberties. The best internal security pop. You know what? Maybe Sweden needs a nerf, Paradox. Maybe they just need to get a little bit of a nerfio. I'm just saying here. Germania's in Europe. Da, no, 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 no. Ah, I love the smell of fresh Germans. But wait, what? No, we're not saying that. That's weird. Yay, guaranteed liberties. I love it. Well, gee golly, I think we might have some shortages of transportation in Zealand and Norland. So, yeah, time to increase that. I even freaking got steel railway cars, and it's still not enough. Like, to put things into perspective, transportation is just so vital, especially if you're using production methods for transport that use transportation. I know I've done this in the past, but I shall do it again because technocratic Sweden is the best Sweden. Everybody is aware of that. So what is happening with our flag? Why is our flag a mixture of the Swedish, Norwegian, and the Danish flag? Is that because we annexed the other nations? I didn't even... When did this happen? I just realized that we had a different flag. Have we had a different flag for years and I just noticed? I think that might be the case. Also, we're close to 200,000 and growing in the 1860. Just goes to show how crazy this nation is. Standard of living, we're also pretty much the first of the major power. Well, second of the major powers, right behind the Belgians, I guess. Hey, we're up to 86,000 in profit now with our company. That is crazy but good. 86 levels they've got in Zealand. Of course they do. They basically own this country already, don't they? Little schnappledoops. Hey, it's official. We beat the freaking Belgians, guys. We're 16.5, a little bit above the Belgians. Hells to the yes. And we just researched pan-nationalism, so now we can go to our journal, Form Scandinavia, a glorious nation with a much different color. Is this not the same color? What's the point of this, man? We also can become a great power by just going for medium government wages and military wages. Look at that. We are the 7th great power of the world, and we're just 3 million behind the Americans, which is just ridiculous. Like, oh, I see why. Okay, it's because the Americans are split in half. I didn't even realize that happened, actually. What the hell? They didn't even integrate the Indian territory? Okay, we need to have a US video because this is just crazy, guys. I need to show you guys how you can play extremely well as the Americans. A French wild migration. Hails to the yes. I also forgot to privatize, so let's do that now. We're gonna privatize, and we're gonna just start snowballing. I'm gonna start doubling down on my construction sectors, so I make use of the money that I'm gonna have in the reserves. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that, boys. 2.3 million in reserves. So we paid off 700,000 that we had debt. That is just crazy. Oh, we could build in Russia? Oh, yes, please. Oh my god, that is freaking massive. I didn't even know these guys had genial relations with us. That is freaking massive. So this means that we're gonna be able to get ridiculously rich from just building up all the sectors in Russia with that investment agreement, because we only have limited amounts of pops in our country, but we can tax our companies that are going to start building up in Russia. So yeah, get ready to be filthy rich, boys. Get ready to be filthy rich. It's going to be good. It's going to be really good. Let's also start getting more construction sectors and more tooling workshops. Apparently tooling workshops is a big deal right now. And we're also a technocracy, the world's only technocracy for that matter. We're a monarchist technocracy, by the way. We're not even a democratic one. Not yet, anyway. We could go for private health insurance. Public is arguably better because it gives the mortality reduction, but mortality reduction per wealth, too bad. And I kind of just want to do something different. I always go for public health insurance. I'm gonna go for private just because we can be an actual technocracy where the technocrats and the rich industrialists have all the say in this country. You know what I mean? Kind of like certain modern countries. Oh god, I just realized something, guys. We completely forgot this. This is no bueno at all. We need more government administration buildings. We have forgot to get our institutions. We could get level 4 home affairs. We have no home affairs right now. Well, level 1. I need to mention, because I've seen some of you commenting, why does in your game say formulation review implementation? It's because of the distribution of power. If you have a technocracy, it will change the name of the different phases for enacting legislation to this, and it's the same. It's different based on the distribution of power, whether you're a monarchy, whether you're a voting system. Okay, let's see what our reserves are doing. 3.6 million. Okay, that's good. Let's see how many pops we're taxing dividends. Not too much, but it will start to increase the more capitalists we get and the more buildings we start from the private sector getting, the more we're going to be able to get as dividends tax. Now, that being said, I will love to go for laissez-faire. We have a lot of support for that now, so I will be going for this next. That means we get loan interest rate minus 25%, and together with the fact that we're now a great power, which means another 50% reduction in loan interest rate, that's minus 75% loan interest rate. And we have some technologies, of course, too, that we can go for that will lower the interest rate even more, like the central banking, the mutual funds, which we're doing right now. That means we're basically going to be paying close to nothing in interest, so we can just continue to snowball like freaking crazy. Let's get more construction sectors too, and also more infrastructure, because I'm noticing I'm having some issues in certain states here. Oh, and because we formed Scandinavia, we have all 3 of the Scandinavian cultures as primary cultures. That's cool. So that means we keep getting more Norwegians, more Danes, as well as more Swedes at the same time. Okay, we also have OC10 migrating to our lands now. Big migration of OC10 people, apparently. Oh boy, I'm making way more money than I should be making, aren't I? Yeah, what am I doing here? Because most of my construction is being used by my private sector. This is just insane. This is actually insane. I just need more construction sectors. Let's switch to the steel production method. Look at that, steel frame production method, and I still have all of my private sector using up that is crazy. That is actually crazy. I just need to spam construction sectors and that's it. Nothing else, guys. Like, the meta right now is just construction sectors. It's freaking wild to see this. My reserves is maxed out too. Look at that, 8 million reserves and growing. I'm gonna stop privatizing temporarily until I actually use up that money, because it's just crazy. It is actually crazy how much we already have. 8.25 million and growing in reserves, and I'm gonna go on very low taxes. I should have done this a while back, but yeah, we're making 567,000 in national revenue. That's because of the 400,000 we're getting from the investment pool. So what does that mean? It means that our investment pool is paying us so they can build up these particular buildings wherever they want to build them. So us not building any buildings means that the construction is getting used by the investment sector, and as such, we're just reaping the benefits and we're getting ridiculously rich as consequence. So let's get more construction sectors as consequence then. There you go. A window to utopia. Yeah, no kidding, buddy. We are the utopia. We're the real utopia, okay? Okay, let's get more construction sectors in Scania. Look at this, guys. Look at freaking this 9 million population. We've been growing like so fast, the population. It's wild. We're still making a lot of money. So we got 39 million left in the investment pool. We're gonna make sure we use up all of that. Make sure we change to the more optimal production methods too, for that matter. What do we need, guys? More construction sectors. That's right. Let's go, baby. Oh boy, we have overtaken the Americans by quite a lot. We're about to overtake the French, man. We're literally about to overtake the French. This is just crazy. This is is actually crazy. The Germans are freaking second. And what is up with that flag actually on Germany? That's wild. I've never seen that bug before. Guess that's new with this patch. So we got 2 more charters now, which means we can give investment rights and trade rights for this particular company, which means this company is also going to get richer. The other one's already at 121. This one's 129. So from a global perspective, they're not too bad. Both of them are in the top 10 companies in the world, which is really, really good. We're up to 1 million national revenue right now on very low taxes. I might as well just cancel the liquor tax and this tax, shouldn't I? Yeah, I probably should. Standard of living, of course, we are first, and we're up to 45 million GDP and massively growing for that matter. Let me see what the construction sectors are doing. They're building steel mills. They're building everything that needs to be built. And when it comes to my cultures, we've got 500,000 Frenchmen, 500,000 South Germans, North Germans. Everybody from Europe is basically loving utopia that has become our nation. And I'm actually having a lot of fun with this, but I genuinely think that you guys would really enjoy this too. Now the investment pool has dried up, so now we're going to use those construction sectors for our own purposes. Basically going to start building the buildings with our own income. We do have a lot of it, so make use of that. Go ahead and spam some more tooling workshops in Seviland, more steel mills as well. We have a massive shortage of steel, and we can do more of those in Seviland, of course. Plus, we can start spamming stuff around the Russian areas ourselves. Now, this has actually turning into a pretty fun campaign, but I'm gonna say Sweden part 1. Put this on my Discord so you guys can check it out for yourself, and maybe you can continue, do better than I'm doing, of course, if you want to. And if you had fun, don't forget to leave a like. If we get 4,000 or 5,000 likes on this video, I'll do a second part where we take it all the way to 1936 just to see how OP we can become in Sweden. But I think I've proven my point that technocratic Scandinavia is extremely fun if you early modernize and industrialize. Love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.